everyone. Hi, Facebook. I'm just making sure that everything here is set up correctly. Hi, everyone. Hi, Facebook. I'm just making sure that everything here is set up correctly. And hi, everyone. Hi, Facebook.
I love this.
I have multiple.
You want to stop it and restart it?
Okay, I think that we're good now.
We'll keep
let
going.
me check it on this computer to make sure we're still streaming.
We don't need to make a bloopers reel. We start with that part.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm just making sure it's still, okay, we're still live. Okay, so, hi Facebook. This is the first time I'm doing this, so please bear with me as we work through some of these issues. I know you heard me say hi about 15 times. I think it's because I had multiple windows open and I had to give Zoom some permissions to let me on. But I wanted to jump on here today on Freedom Friday, and I want to make this something that's a weekly thing. I had this idea that I just really wanted to surround myself with people who have been really successful in life or who have achieved some of the things that I want to achieve more of in my life. And just spend some time with them and ask them some questions about some of the things that they've done to make them become so successful, and just show the world that you don't necessarily have to follow a conventional method to live the life that you really want and a life that you're really, really excited about. And so I thought this would be something fun to do weekly, to bring some people on for some inspiration. Maybe if you're not in a place in life that you want to be in right now, maybe some of these people that I interview will help you get to that place. And maybe if you are, they'll help you elevate it to an even bigger level so you can live a little bit more out loud and truly live your dreams. This week, and like I said, this is the first time we're doing this, so bear with us. We're working through some technical issues. But this week I have a very dear friend of mine, Karla Italiano, on with me. Karla is a crystal executive in $1 billion health and wellness company. We are actually partnered in this company, and that's how we met. We met at an event that we both ended up attending, and we're living within the same area, and the event was in a completely different area. But she has a huge heart and passion for helping others to thrive. She has created a 6-figure residual income for her family, which is unbelievably amazing. Her background is in engineering, and she left her corporate job a long time ago to create this amazing income. So Karla, thank you so very much for taking the time to be here today.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Jacqueline. I'm just so honored that you asked me to participate. And what a dear friend you are. I'm so thankful that we met at that event and we've just collaborated together. It's been so fun.
I am too. I really am. And that's one of the things that's been so amazing about the company that we're partnered with, is you can meet people all over the world and really, really get to experience different cultures and just different experiences. So I put together a list of questions for Karla so that you guys can get some really good value out of today. And she can share a little bit more about her story as we go along, just so that you can get a better idea of who she is and what she's truly accomplished. I think that some of these questions will help you be able to see that. So the first question that I wanted to ask you is what drives you every day, Karla? What makes you want to jump out of bed in the morning and really help other people to live their best life physically and financially?
Oh, thank you so much, Jacqueline. Again, I just so appreciate this opportunity. And gosh, what drives me is making choices. It's the ability to have choices. And initially it was for me, it was to choose my girls' school. I have 3 girls. You see one walking around here. She's at home, and we have a private Christian school that we love. And at the time, you know, like I was an engineer. I left my job to do another business that hadn't worked out, but I'd stayed at home. So we're living on my husband's income, which is amazing. but we knew that the cost of tuition for all three of our kids was going to increase faster than his salary. And I didn't like feeling confined in that choice or any choice. I didn't want to compromise our experiences as a family or our choices for our girls especially. And so what drives me is creating choices for my family. And the more choices that I've been able to experience in my own health because of the partnership that we're with our company and also financially, the more that I've had a passion to help other people experience the same thing.
Oh, I love that. And it's amazing because I think sometimes we get so stuck in the fact that we don't get choices, right? Like before I started this journey, I guess the best way for me to explain it is I thought that you had to do things a certain way and that things had to be done specifically that way. And so I just think that that's beautiful that you have been able to create more choices for your family and that you found a way to do that. And you don't have to do things this conventional way to create more choice and to have freedom in your life.
Absolutely.
Could you go in a little bit? I don't think I did a very good job at explaining kind of your background and all that you've achieved. Could you just kind of share a little bit about like your background and where you come from and kind of, what you've accomplished, I guess, is the
Sure, I'd love to. I'd love to. Thank you so much, Jacqueline. But as you had mentioned to myself, I'm a former engineer. I worked in the corporate world. I love the job. I love the people, but I didn't like being stuck in a set time. And I didn't like being stuck in a set salary and a set level and having to go through hoops to get to certain levels in a certain amount of times. And I wanted freedom. And so I started in another home-based business, and I left the corporate world to do that one, even though I never experienced the success that I wanted there. And actually that really crushed my confidence in this whole model of home business. But at that point, my husband and I were married. We had 3 girls in the meantime. And also around that time, we actually started using the products of the company that we're now partnered with in business. So it's actually been almost 10 years now that we've been using the products. And for me, I had some weight to lose, and I just felt obsessed in my mind about being careful about what I ate, and I should eat this and I shouldn't eat that, and I should exercise. I got to make up for that. And it was exhausting and it wasn't showing any results, but I tried these products that helped me not only lose the weight, but lose that obsession in my mind. I experienced freedom. And so I loved it. So all those years we stayed on the products, but because of my prior experience, which was so discouraging to me, I resisted this as an income opportunity for 6 years. So then around 4 years ago was when my girls were going to school. Like I mentioned before, I wanted choices for them. I didn't want to compromise. And I knew that this vehicle of network marketing, which we're both involved in, was a platform, was an opportunity to create an income that would cover all of our choices instead of having to squeeze everything that we wanted into a set salary. And so that's when I went to work. It was work. It wasn't a get rich quick thing at all. I had so many reasons that I could have quit. I had so many obstacles in the beginning, so many mindset issues, just so many challenges in the beginning that would have made it more sense to quit, but I didn't. I just wanted that freedom. So I dove in, and now, as you said, I've created at a level of a 6-figure residual income. I've won top prizes from the company, including one that was awarded to the top 8 one year. I mean, it just blows me away what I've been experienced now. It's been an incredible journey. We have more to do, but it's just been the biggest blessing to our family in every way.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I feel like that will give people like a better picture of kind of, who you are and what you've achieved and where you're headed. And I it's awesome to be able to see like what you have accomplished in the time that we have known each other. And I'm just so proud of you. And I'm so thankful to have you as a leader and someone who can provide guidance. And I just love that. So thank you so much. 10 years ago, so I guess probably about the time you were starting the products, but really, living, a different way. Did you ever imagine that things would end up the way that they are right now?
I didn't, because this November, it'll be 10 years that I started using the product. So, 10 years ago, I wanted it. I desired it. I love the profession of direct sales and network marketing, but I stopped believing in it for myself because I felt like I was doing everything I was supposed to do, yet not achieving the results. So my conclusion at the time was, well, it's just not meant to be. It's not going to work for me. And so certainly 10 years ago, I did not imagine that I would be here where I am today.
So what do you think changed along your journey that allowed you to like shift that mindset to a one of you didn't believe to, does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And I think it's really a matter of choice, and it's a matter of having a reason to go for something, any goal. This can apply to any goal that's bigger than our excuses and our stories. Because like I said, from my prior experience, I was so frustrated. And so my internal story in my mind was that I couldn't do it. And then all of a sudden I had this reason, right? My family grew, my kids were growing. I had this big reason and this big desire to change it. So for me, it was just a matter of shifting, because I believe things that stand in our way is really a matter of choice on how we treat that. Is this going to be something that's going to be a stumbling block or a stepping stone? As I heard an American proverb say, an obstacle can be a stepping stone or a stumbling block. The only difference is how we choose to use it. And once I had a reason to overcome my obstacles, then that was bigger than any obstacle. So any obstacle that came across my path at that point became a reason that I needed to get better. It became a motivation to grow myself and become better so that I could overcome those obstacles instead of letting them stop me.
Right. That's beautiful. That's amazing. So you talked a little bit about obstacles. What obstacles have you had to overcome to achieve the success that you now have today? Because, sometimes people will see these stories and they're like, well, I could never do that. Or, yeah, but she had it so easy. Or, and not everybody says these things, but just like, they get to see the end result, but they don't necessarily see the struggle and like the things that come up that make it difficult for you to achieve the things that you want to achieve. So would you be open to sharing just kind of what obstacles you kind of have run into and the things that you've done to really overcome those?
Sure, absolutely. Thanks, Jacqueline. I think in the beginning, as I alluded to before, was simply my mindset and my belief that I couldn't do it. So I had to work on myself, which was huge. And also, I didn't have a support system around me. I didn't have anyone in the beginning who believed in what I believed or was supporting it. So I had to dig in and do it myself. I had people who expected me to fail. I had people who accused me of neglecting my kids, which was the whole reason that I was doing it, was so I could be with my kids, right? And that's one of the best things about doing this. And I had people turn back their products, and I had a lot of skills to grow. In the beginning, it certainly wasn't easy. Of my first 30 people that I asked, only one said yes, and she returned her products. That was my start. And for most people that I find who don't have a big reason or a big desire to go for it, they will use something like that as their reason to quit. But again, for me, that was my reason to get better. And, I have had, my own surgeries along the way, guests in the house, traveling abroad, every inconvenience you can imagine, and excuses I hear from other people for their reasons for not doing it. Those were all just things that could have been my reason, but I decided to keep going anyway.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that with me, and everybody else. I love what you said about sometimes people think of things that come up more of an excuse, when you really can use that as something that drives you, because it's more of a reason for you to do it, like spending more time with your kids and just building that belief up, so that you can push through those obstacles and move forward. So having gone through everything that you've had to go through and all the obstacles in your way, would you do it all over again, and why?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, I'd do it again. I mean, to have the freedom that I have now, no doubt. And most of all, the person that I've become. Just from the beginning, I knew that one of the things that was holding me back was just the fact that I wasn't my best self yet. And I saw among the leaders, they were so diverse in their background, education, experience, but they all had in common this presence and this poise and this confidence. And I knew that if I grew myself, the closer I became to my ideal self, the better I could thrive in this business. And so that alone is worth it. Like that alone is exciting, because now, I mean, that is who I am to my family. That's how I show up for my girls. This example I set. I'd absolutely do it again.
Awesome. So, it's crazy because you don't really think about that, because you're not really, or I didn't think about, you know, what kind of person I would become along this journey. And so it's amazing how many things change as you go through this. So you talked about creating freedom and making a little bit more choices in your life, like allowing room for more choices. What kind of freedom have you created within the life that you are able to live today?
I think, well, you know, as I mentioned, I'm able to stay home with my girls, which is the best part. And, you know, as you know, you see my daughter here, I told her if she was going to be in the screen, she'd be in front of thousands of people. She said, okay. And as you might tell from her appearance, she's been through some challenges herself. And, you know, one thing I've learned about this journey is that each time that you allow an obstacle to become an excuse not to do it, you forfeit an opportunity for freedom in the future. Whereas if you turn each obstacle into a stepping stone and a reason to go forward, each time you do that, it's creating a foundation of freedom for later. And in developing this business and working when it was hard, when it didn't make sense, even when it felt alone, for 3.5 years, I never took a single day off. I worked hard. I didn't work constantly, but I worked very consistently. And all of that, overcoming all those obstacles at the foundation, so that, you know, when our daughter received a leukemia diagnosis, this past March, I was able to have the freedom to take off 2 months completely. And because of this vehicle of network marketing and because of the work that I'd done in it, I had no loss in income. And in fact, it increased. And I had new leaders rising up on my team. Is a beautiful thing. And that freedom is just so important. I mean, I feel everyone should have some source of residual income on the side. And in addition to the obvious financial piece, just the freedom in thought, the discipline that I've been able to develop gives me freedom, even emotionally, to ask questions, to make decisions not out of fear, but to feel empowered. And also just being in an environment of health conscious people, you know, from the very beginning, from the first day, I knew I wanted to learn and dive in from a health perspective, nutrition perspective. And I didn't put that responsibility on anyone else, on the doctors or anyone. I dove in and learned that myself and found the people who could help me. So I wasn't just receiving one source. So it's just a victory in the freedom of empowerment. I mean, freedom is having choices, and that's what we've been able to live now because of the work. It's hard work, but because I did the work, that's the freedom we now enjoy.
You shared so many like beautiful pieces of information in what you just said, and thank you so much for that, because, you know, one of the things that you did share that I think a lot of people don't think about is you never know when you need a plan B. Like, even if you love what you're doing today and it's a conventional way of doing things, you know, it's something that a lot of people accept, and that's what a lot of people do. That's okay. Like, we celebrate that for you. We're excited about that for you. But like Karla was saying, things don't always go as planned. And, you know, to be able, it's hearing your story and just what you share is so inspiring to me, because to be able to create those choices and have that freedom so that when you do have those health challenging obstacles come in your way, like you do with your daughter, you're able to take that time and really spend it with her and focus on her, and then have your income increase at the same standpoint so that your family doesn't lose the ability to make those choices and have that freedom. Like, that's huge. That's, you know, that's one of the biggest things that drives me every single day, is hearing your story and what you've overcome to achieve it. And so thank you so much for sharing that with everybody else, because I think that it's important. I think that people need to know that you get to design your life the way that you want it to look. No one else gets that power. You have that power. And so it's a matter of you making a decision to make the choice to take the power back and decide what you're going to do every single day and how you want to live and how you want to be. So thank you so much for sharing that. I have one more question for you, and then because I wanted to keep these kind of short, I'll do them, like I said, every week. I'll have different people come on to talk to you guys, to inspire you and share some more information. I'll probably ask Karla to come back one week just because I think she's got so much knowledge and we've just been through so much on this journey. But what's one piece of wisdom that you would like to share with someone who might be watching this, who may be unhappy with where they're at or struggling with where they're at and is looking to really make a change? Like, what's one piece of information that you think could help them with where they're at right now?
Absolutely, Jacqueline. Decide what you do want. And it seems so simple, but most people don't do this. We know what we don't want. We know what we complain about. We know what's going wrong. We know that this isn't right. We know that we're discouraged. We know that we're frustrated. And we know all those things, and we focus on those things. So what do you think we get more of is those things. And it takes effort, but it's so simple. If we just decide what we do want, which takes some creativity, it takes some imagination, and it certainly takes some discipline. And for some people, it's even out of their comfort zone, is to decide what we do want. What we do want. Paint the picture in your mind of what it feels like, what it looks like, what do you want your situation to be? And then show up energetically as if you're already there, as if you already have what you want. Believe that it's coming to you. You'll find the vehicle that'll give it to you, that'll allow you to create that in your life. But most of all, just decide what you do want. Don't just focus on what you don't want. Focus on what it looks like and what it feels like when you do achieve what you do want, and believe it'll happen. And that'll take you in that direction instead of keeping steady and cycling right where you are.
Thank you so much. You're so right. So many times, even I have found myself focusing on what I don't want to happen instead of focusing on the outcome that I want to achieve or the result that I want to get. But thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with us. I know that you are very busy and you have a beautiful family. And so thank you so much for just allowing me to ask you these questions. And I hope that by doing this, we've inspired at least one person to go out there and decide to, live life in a more empowered way and decide to make more choices and to really decide to live a life by their own design. So thank you so much, Karla. Is there anything else that you wanted to add before we hop off here?
I just want to commend you, Jacqueline. I think this is amazing what you're doing. You are such an incredible leader yourself, and just the initiative you've taken to do this is great. I can't wait to tune into all your future episodes and listen to the leadership tips and the goal setting tips and the unconventional tips that are going to come out of this. So thank you. I'm so honored that you asked me to share today. And I miss you. I miss having you close, and I appreciate so much what you're doing. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. That means like so much to me. I can't even convey how much that means to me. And I miss you so much. I know we're a little bit farther apart now, but it's nice to be able to do this. And I'm so thankful that we have technology to be able to bring us closer together. So thank you so much. You guys, I hope you have an amazing weekend. I hope this gave you some things to think about throughout the weekend, and maybe you'll decide to start your Monday a little bit different than you would normally. And I hope that next week is the best week ever for you. So have an amazing weekend, and I will see you again on Friday. Bye, everyone.
Bye.